The wonders and powers of Lemurian and other beautiful ancient crystals. I'm rockin' Larry Locken with Pleiadian Express Productions. Good evening wherever you are. Tonight we got an interesting show for you tonight. It's a really hot topic that I think is on everybody's minds, at least in the so-called Lightworker Starseed community, and that is the power of crystals, the healing power, the technology power, the lost civilization knowledge power. We're going to dive into that with, of course, my co-host of Pleiadian Late Night Talk, 9 hours up the road from me in Vancouver, BC, Raquel Toombs, and also our producer Sif Gunnarsdottir is going to chime in a little bit and share some of her knowledge about crystals. Raquel, how are you? It was a great pre-show. I can't wait to hear you flow again on this. How are you doing, girl, all the way up in Vancouver, BC?
I'm doing good. The weather here has been beautiful. I've been busy planting a garden and for my first time gardening and combining crystals with the earth and gardening, and I'm so stoked and excited and absolutely loving that. And yeah, it's things have been really good.
Well, that's cool because I also forgot to mention in the introduction that, and I told you this in the pre-show, I've got a nice clean white plate in front of me with those seven beautiful Merkaba chakra crystals that you mailed to me, and I've also got in the middle of that a clear, little clear quartz crystal that is kind of special to me. So I would encourage everybody to grab their favorite crystal and have it in hand and enjoy the show. And like we were talking before, there's so many. It's hard to know where to start because there's endless. Crystals are really the essence to life. And I think, Raquel, I think I'm going to let you just start wherever you want because, I mean, it's just as good as where I would start. It's one of these topics that it's so exciting to cover. It's like you don't know what to say. So, I mean, what comes to your mind when you first, think about your crystals that you love? What comes to your mind and go from there?
Well, for me, I've always, ever since I was a young kid, I've always loved rocks. I think a lot of us have that in common. And I've always loved crystals, but it's just been really since since my awakening as we go further in this process, I'm becoming more and more connected to crystals. And really, crystals, they speak to me. Crystals are living beings, so they each have a different vibration and a different feeling and a different they, of course, they all have different healing properties. They're also my medicine now, since I don't take medicine anymore, so crystals are my medicine now. But they're also my friends, and they're also like they're just amazing. And I think that a lot of us are becoming more and more drawn, and not only drawn but communicating and connecting with crystals, because we're in the process of becoming crystalline. So when I've taken pictures, and sometimes in the sun I'll see with my eyes, close up pictures of a crystal, and I see the exact same thing, in my hair and on my skin and even on Ariel's nose in the sun. There's like, tons of these little platinum living cells with
Yes.
multicolors. So basically, like, I'm looking at myself and then I'm looking at the crystal, and it's like, oh my God, like we're made up of the exact same things. So, with crystals, especially, quartz crystals, and I'm sure this goes for all crystals, it's amazing the fact that they are pure vibration. They're pure vibration. They're not liquid. They're not solid. It's the density of 3D and our perception. We can hold it in our hand. We can look at it. It appears solid. We can look at, another person or our pet or whatever. It looks solid down here, but we're not. And neither are the crystals. They're the same as us. We're pure vibration. And I'm starting, to see that in myself and in other people, and it's a really exciting thing. So really, like, just being able to see the similarities as far as our vibration as we go forward in this process, and the crystals vibrations, we're the same. We're the same, right? So crystals are like, they're
Yeah.
not only my medicine, but they're our family as well, right? That might sound crazy,
They
but they are.
No, it doesn't because I really feel like, when I think of crystals, when I really, really get my mind into it and I think of turn it into a crystalline being, and I see the crystalline in the air like you do, and on the bodies, I just start to almost feel. I anticipate that the feeling of being pure crystalline would be bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Bliss would be the only way I could describe it. But you know, you hit on something too in the pre-show that really, just a comment you made that really made me realize just how alive these crystals are. And it was something just slight that really, you know, if somebody heard it, they wouldn't think anything of it. But you were like, okay, you may have these crystals that really like vibe with you and they're great. And then maybe a couple months down the road, and it's not a good or bad thing, maybe they're just not into your vibration. You know what I mean? And I wanted you to explain, you know, what you were talking about there a little bit, because I think you were on another point, but when you said that, it just hit home with me that these things really are living beings and interdimensional, and they're really the key to everything. And where are, you know, maybe at your particular level, right, a certain stone is helping you on the path you are, and then maybe at another level, another stone will be there to guide you, or you know what I mean, crystal. So
Absolutely.
I'll put my excited rambling on that and let you talk about it.
No, yes, it's true. I have been, there's only been a few times where I've been sitting here and I've just known, wait a minute, I need a piece of blue lace agate. I think it's agate, whatever, I don't know how you call it. I just call it agate, but apparently it's agate. You know, just for an example, or I need a piece of, you know, I don't know, fluorite or whatever, without knowing anything about it first. It'll pop into my head and I know I need a piece. So then I'll go to the, you know, I'll go to the crystal store. Oh, you got this? Yes, I do. And great. And I'll pick a piece, and then I'll come home and I'll do a quick Google search, and it'll be exactly what I need at the time. So it could be, you know, if it's something emotional I'm going through, if it's something physical, whatever, the properties of the crystal are exactly what I need at the time, and I will connect very strongly with that crystal and really almost merge with that crystal, and it'll, you know, it's a medicine, it's, you know, it's so healing, it's exactly what I need, and then on to the next, then another one will come. So it's kind of like, you know, they could kind of like be, you know, our healers, our guides. They're just, you know, they're here to, you know, to assist us at this time. And so yeah, I've been, you know, I have several, you know, around the house, and there's some that, you know, I really like, you know, purchased because I knew I needed it at the time, and you know, I really connected it, and then it kind of served its purpose for me, and now it's kind of, you know, put aside. And then other times I'll just go into, you know, go out and go into a store, metaphysical store, and so, you know, a certain crystal will speak to me. And that's another thing I was going to mention is, you know, when choosing crystals, I was talking about ordering online. And I know that there's some people that don't have, you know, crystal stores or metaphysical stores in their area, and so, you know, they do order online. I know for me, I wouldn't be able to do that, because when I go into a crystal store, except for the times, you know, the few times when I know ahead of time this I need something, I'll just go in there and I will just kind of see what speaks to me. And it's not like with my eyes, because I've picked, you know, what's aesthetically pleasing. Of course, we're all drawn to the shiny, sparkly, look at all these beautiful colors, but it's you know, I've bought in some crystals, like I bought a scepter quartz, and this quartz, I mean, it's not aesthetically pleasing at all. I had never heard of it, but it just kind of screamed at me. It was just like, yeah, okay, and I'm like, okay, I need this one, right? Not knowing anything about it, and then I brought it home once again, found out it was exactly what I needed. Now it's sitting in my, you know, on my altar in my little sacred space. So yeah, since they all have a different vibration, they'll have a different frequency, as we move forward, there will be some that will be completely compatible with our energy and exactly what we need at the time. And then as we move, you know, we move along, and then not so much anymore, and then we move on to, you know, to the next, and find, you know, the next one that calls out to us, right? So
Do you think if one, say you were looking at a website and maybe it was something that called out to you and you're a person who's even really familiar with crystals, right? Do you think there's something that gets lost though in getting it that way versus getting the same one, say that your gut was drawn to at your local metaphysical shop? I mean, do you think there's something, even if it's, you know, serves the same purpose, do you think there's something lost there with you know, it's actually the vibration of the feeling of being there
Mhm.
with it, seeing it. I mean, do you think you can have that over the internet to a degree, or is it's, you know, not? Well, I guess what I'm saying is there is something lost in the mix there.
Yeah, I think there is because I think that there, there may be, well, like I said, like with with certain ones that I knew I needed, like the fluorite or the blue lace agate, there's been certain stones like that I knew I needed, and I think with those type of things, like I've just gone in and just kind of picked whatever one felt right, but I think those like anyone would have done, anyone would have been fine. But then when you get into the different say like with the Lemurian, the Lemurians will pick you. It's been my experience, going into a store and there'll be a selection of Lemurians. And it's not always, the one with the rainbow or the one that's the most aesthetically pleasing. There
Hmm.
will be a particular, there will just be one that will just speak to me, and I know that's the one for me. Um, I know some people kind of will feel that first draw, that first oh my gosh, and then they'll overthink and start looking through them and say, oh well, wait a
Exactly.
minute. Yeah, like wait a minute, this one has a little pretty rainbow in it, or this one's nicer, or this one's bigger, and they're all the same. They all cost the same. So it's kind of like the first one. Different people have different ways of choosing crystals. I remember going into a crystal store, and the woman's like, "Well, you hold it in your left hand, you put it towards your chest, and then you close your eyes, and then if you lean to the right, that means it's not." And it was kind of like, "Oh, okay, well,
Do
whatever."
the hokey pokey. You're right.
Yeah,
Do the hokey
I
pokey.
mean, whatever
Exactly.
works for you. But I think we're kind of at the point where we trust our intuition. We're learning to, or we're getting better at trusting our intuition with everything else and really listening. And so that goes the same for crystals. Like the very first one will call to you. Don't bother looking anymore. It doesn't matter about the aesthetics or whatever, because that's the one that you're meant to have, right? So with me, it's just, and also, I was telling you in the pre-show, I'll go, quite often I'll go into a metaphysical store and a stone will speak to me and it'll be the same energy of somebody that, that's a friend of mine, not anybody that I've met in person, except for Janice every once in a while. But, I've sent crystals to many people all over, the States. And, it's kind of like I'll go into a store and it's like this a certain stone will just this person right away will come into my mind, whether I've ever messaged with them or chatted with them or really had no contact with them at all. They will instantly come into my mind. That stone will tell me that that's where it needs to go. It needs to go to this person. So I don't second guess it. I just purchase it, message the person, say, hey, want to give me your address, because I'm going to, and this the last person I sent one to, he was kind of a little bit leery, right? But I was like, it's just, it chose you. This is where it needs to go. This is what I do. And he was, cool. Most people find that really weird, but
Not me. Yeah, I was really excited when you're like, "Hey, you've got some coming your way," and I was like, for a second, I thought maybe you were joking and whatever. But when they came, that then you reminded me a couple weeks later or a week later they hadn't got here yet, and I'd forgot all about it. And you're like, "Have those crystals got there yet?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, those." And the next day they came, and I ripped open the package, and you really hit it on the head. I don't know how to explain this, but I really needed those seven Merkaba chakra Merkabas. I like chakras, Merkabas. I like those
mhm,
colors. I like everything about it aesthetically. It just so happens. So I guess that's a bonus. But going back to the point you were making about trusting your gut, I think we're learning to do that more. I think one thing we all have in common is it is human tendency to you go in there and go, oh man, like for me, I love blue. Oh, there's the blue one or the aqua. Look at the
mhm,
rainbow,
mhm,
right? You have the tendency, Raquel, to want to do that, but our gut is getting stronger and starting to be stronger enough to override that, oh, second guessing, but this has that, but whatever you're drawn to. And I really feel like that resonates. And I think that
mhm,
really, that Lemurian energy, that is one way to know that you're experiencing some Lemurian energy. Like, say, okay, we all have a gut feeling at first, but when you get that overriding gut feeling that, hey, I really want this crystal, it's
mhm,
not about the rainbow, the color, I want this. And that
mhm.
Lemurian energy is starting to rise in us, you know?
Well, you will just instantly connect to it. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with, if you have the money, if you Lemurian, not Lemurian, whatever, Lemurian, potato. Uh, if you have the money, sure, like I'd love to, it would be great to go out shopping and and just purely by the looks, because there's so many beautiful different crystals. And just be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get one of these and one of these, but as far as for the ones that you need at the time, not ones that you just want to add to your collection, but ones that actually you need to assist, the ones that are here to assist you, that you find to assist you. Like with the Lemurian, like I was telling you, I don't know if we discussed it in just the pre-show or if we discussed it here, but with the Lemurian, it's wonderful to like you can always tell it's Lemurian because it's got the ridges, almost like a little ladder up from the bottom to the top, almost like little hieroglyphs, but they're straight lines across. And if you meditate with it and you just feel and you run your fingers along the grooves, so there's many, thank you, so there's many lines, up it, and within these lines, and Lemurian.
I gotta say real quick that comment was directed actually from our executive producer Sif Gunnarsdottir at me myself. So that is Lemurian, not Lemurian, but potato. Actually, some people call it mu, mu. So it's whatever. But yeah, that useless trivia aside.
Is mu the same as Lemuria? Oh my God, I have a book.
Yeah, hon, it is. Yes.
I have a book. Oh my God, that just blew me away. I have a book. I don't know where I got it from,
oh my God, Raquel Toombs know something. I got to stop you right now. This is a legendary moment. This is one time I think I've ever heard Raquel be like, "Wow, I didn't know that." So yeah,
no,
go on.
Yeah. But I have a book, and I don't know what. I've never read it, but I couldn't let it go, and I've got rid of so much stuff when I moved. It's called The Children of Mu, and it's got all these symbols. It's got all these symbols. It's got like, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna pull it out, and it's like, wow, thank you. That's really cool. Anyway, going back to the meditating with the mu crystals. with
Mu.
With the Lemurian. That's so awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so if you meditate with it and you run your fingers up into the, up around the grooves and feel the grooves, that's where that's how the information, kind of is stored. You'll start picking up, for some people they're visuals, so you may start picking up images, symbols, ancient landscapes, whatever. For other people, it's just, a feeling, a very strong feeling. It's a unity consciousness crystal. And it was, they were programmed and left here for us to discover and utilize and to aid us, at this time of transformation, very lovingly by very high dimensional, advanced beings, right? So.
Well, the thing too, Raquel, Ravishing Rack, about these mu crystals, I'm going to call them mu from here on out. These mu crystals, right? Okay, they were known actually to have foreseen cataclysms, and in that, what they encouraged was people to store and preserve their knowledge and traditions within those crystals, right? So that information could be accessed at, now, the end of another age, something, right? And just in case, and they've foreseen these cataclysms, and maybe it ended up didn't happen, but you put that knowledge into the crystal, right? And you use it for like a kind of an Akashic record, so to speak, an interdimensional, trippy, cool cosmic record. And so it's just fascinating. And we haven't even touched on yet, I think you might have a little, the healing properties. But before you do that, I'm just going to go on a quick, boring little 10-second rant. These crystals are so powerful that if you took eight 150-foot crystals, I know that sounds like a lot, but you stationed them around the planet just right, it would power the entire planet 24/7. There would be no need for any kind of fossil fuels. I mean, in Alaska alone, the U.S. military has one in northern Alaska. nobody's allowed to go to. Even supplies are only allowed to meet them halfway. But this thing could power the entire state of Alaska and Canada by itself, just one of them. So that's something to think about too, why these things have been so kept out of our consciousness on purpose, because they're the key to freedom. They are our key to our full interdimensional selves. And I just had to get that part in. And yeah.
Oh my God, I've got like really heightened senses right now. So I've got my little Lemurian in my hand. I was looking down at it, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something run across the floor really quick, and it scared the hell out of me. But it was just a shadow of my foot. I was moving my foot. But sorry.
Hey, sometimes 3D stuff.
Like, what the hell is that? Oh, that's my foot. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, and so I also wanted to talk about when we were saying about how there's certain crystals that we'll be drawn to and we'll need at the time, and they'll aid us and help us. Like I sleep with different crystals. I sleep with many crystals. Sometimes I wake up with bruises or them, like a huge quartz pyramid, like almost impaled in my rib. But I have to sleep with them because at nighttime they're really doing their work on me.
Well, yeah, you've been going through some issues here recently, and has that crystal? Do you think that crystal sought you out to help you through this, and has it been helping you with some of the issues you've been having in the last week or two?
Well, they all do. They like I said, they all do. There'll be certain ones that'll call to me. I recently discovered, or recently was drawn to the black Tibetan quartz, and the one I was drawn to is actually, it looks more like a clear quartz. I think, like, aesthetically, I probably like it comes in obviously a black to gray, to like more of a clear with like the gray or blackish inclusions in it, to almost looking like a regular quartz. The one that I was drawn to looks just like a regular quartz, but the black Tibetans are absolutely they're absolutely amazing, and they instantly align all your chakras. Like they just instantly. You don't need all these different chakra stones. They also do so much more, and if you really resonate with Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism and the Buddha, then you'll really resonate with these crystals. You'd have to, like I said, I didn't really do much looking into them. I just their vibration and their energy is just really beautiful, and so I'm really really connected to that one. And then there's also the celestial quartz. They also have one called the celestial. I think it's called the celestial starseed quartz, and I haven't come across that one yet. I've only heard about that one. I just recently got an celestial quartz. These are amazing. They're quartz, and the formations in them are really, really neat. It's almost like hieroglyphs in them. Okay, it's almost like hieroglyphs in them. The one I have, I think you posted a picture of it. It's got this, like, the formation is really neat. It's got all these different kind of designs. It's formed differently. The one top of mine kind of looks like a rose. Like, it's like, it grows really, really neat. And then the back of it, it's got like these two little like pyramid triangle shapes. And these, I have not yet to do it, but apparently with these crystals, they're like portals. You can meditate with it and actually enter into the crystal. Recently, a wonderful friend of mine introduced me to the most amazingly beautiful, they're called Andara crystals. You have to be careful for these ones. When I did a bit of research on it, I found out that they're in limited supply. There's not a lot of them around. They're only found in 2 places. They come in all different colors. They're like glass, I guess, like a type of volcanic glass. And each color is got different properties and does different things. But they are just they're really connected with them, and they're just, oh my gosh, they're just absolutely amazing. They're the ones that I'm connected to the most right now. They're the ones that I'm connected to the most right now. But for me, the absolutely essential ascension stone, as far as the DNA, the DNA, the recoding and rebundling and the DNA upgrades, is malachite. Malachite, malachite, malachite. I've had, I feel like I need to get more. I've given many pieces away, but I always, for like probably 6 or 7 months, I knew, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I knew that, that I needed it, and I didn't really know anything about it. And after I got it, um, well, it's good for many things. It's a stone of transformation. So we're transforming, right? Our DNA is transforming. We're transforming into crystalline, and it also it amplifies energy, and it'll help, like smoky quartz. It'll help absorb negativity, and apparently it's really good also to protect against radiation or any kind of electromagnetic stuff. But it actually aligns your DNA and like your cellular structure. It'll align your cellular structure and help ease these these DNA upgrades, which I've been going through pretty intensely. As far as the physical goes, it's been really intense. So malachite, I always have it in my pocket wherever I go, and I always sleep with it in the waistband of my underwear. Like every night, it has to be against me. That's where it has to be. And so I would, out of all the stones, even the ones, like I said, some would resonate with me, and I'd keep them close for a while, and then not so much. But the malachite is a constant, and it's always with me, and I would highly, highly recommend it and suggest it
Yeah,
to everyone.
be, yeah, because you know what? I would listen to what Raquel was saying here because as crazy as what she just said sounds, her ascension symptoms, if anybody's ever had ascension symptoms, this is the person that has. It's just been wild. So if that's helped her and you're having these DNA upgrade issues, I mean, I would seriously take her advice, really. And I'm not just saying that to suck up or anything like that. I've talked to thousands of people, listened to thousands of ascension symptom stories, my own, everybody else's. I mean, I've been around since Raquel has started this process and been talking with her, and they were really wild in the beginning, and then in intervals they've been crazy with her again, and it's so, I don't know if we want to get into that right now because it's not really the topic that we've covered in other shows, but her ascension symptoms were just, I can't even explain it. So I would really, take her advice. And that's just
Well,
all I
and
got to say.
that's also why, I think that's also why, because I'm kind of on the fast track as far as physical mutation goes. It's been very intense and very rapid, and I think that's also why I'm so connected and so like needing crystals. My mom doesn't understand. She's like, "Oh my God, you spend so much money on crystals." It's kind of like, well, that's my medicine, and I know that it's helping me, that it's aiding me, that it's helping me, that it's easing this, as much. I mean, of course, this is, nothing is going to totally take the pain away. We kind of, to evolve physically, all the physical changes, it is painful, but there are definitely, some crystals that help a lot more with the physical. And another one that I got is chlorite in quartz. Chlorite is very earthy, so it helps to ground. But that also, chlorite and quartz is really great because it helps to replenish and rejuvenate. It helps with your DNA as well. So malachite and the chlorite, and it's interesting that they're both green and are kind of earth stones as well. Those two have been really big, but yeah, like I said, the malachite, I believe that's the physical, that's the physical transformation, that's your healer. So if you're having, you're going through in the physical with your muscles seizing up and your pressure in your head and all that physical stuff, get some malachite. That will be your medicine. Like, honestly, it will help a lot.
Do you know anything? Hey, do you know anything? I was also reading about the Atlant as far as the crystals go. To switch to the other side here from Lemurian, I was reading about the Atlantine record keeper crystals. Do you know anything about that? I know that from what I understand, these things are a little bit more of a riddle. You may have an Atlantine crystal, and it contains knowledge that maybe you're not ready to understand yet, or it's just not something within the grasp of humanity to gather, and I guess it takes a little bit more practice, and it's a little bit more of a riddle to decipher these Atlantine crystals, because I think that kind of energy was, I won't say we're deceptive, but I don't know, it seems kind of agenda based. That's why I'm drawn more to the Lemurian crystals myself, and just the Lemurian vibration. The
They're
Atlantine
pure.
seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, there you go.
Yes, they're very
I could have
pure.
said all
Yeah.
that right with just
Yeah.
saying they're pure. Is that the vibe you?
The Atlantean ones, I've not, I'm not familiar with those ones. I have not connected with any of those ones yet. But keep in mind too that because you know, each crystal is a living being, and each crystal has a very, you know, its own unique frequency, or its own unique vibration, its own unique properties. You may not be ready for certain crystals at certain times. I know that some people find Lemurian a little bit too intense, a little bit too strong. The energy's too strong for them. So I think you kind of just, you know, as we go further, you know, the way you're vibrating, your frequency or whatever, will be pretty well the same as a certain crystal you'll come across. So I know also Moldavite is, I wear a little piece of Moldavite, and that's from a meteor. So that's a space stone, right? That's from outer space. So Moldavite has been, I wear it around my neck, and I've had it for a little while, and I absolutely, isn't that funny? Malachite, Moldavite, and then the chlorite are all the green stones. The chlorite's more of an earth one, and then the Moldavite's a space one. So I guess that kind of balances me out. But there's some people that just, you know, certain crystals, it's too much for them, and that's because you're just not ready for that crystal yet. You have to maybe catch up, because that crystal is a little bit more advanced than you are as far as its vibration. But you know, whatever crystal calls to you, that's the one, without, you know, even without doing, you know, research or whatever about it. Just, you know, try it out sometime. If you haven't yet, if you haven't done this, and you have a crystal store in your area, just go into the crystal store and just kind of, you know, clear yourself, center yourself, just kind of, you know, breathe, and just walk in the direction you need to walk. See which one calls to you. It's really amazing the way that happens. Like, and there's, you know, some days where I'll go and nothing will call to me at all. Like nothing. So it's like, okay, obviously I don't need anything right now. Maybe I just think I do. And then there's other times where I'll go and, like I said, the celestial quartz and the Tibetan black quartz are both two new additions for me. And they're both absolutely beautiful. And I haven't really, I don't know too much about them yet, but when you're ready for, you know, for a certain crystal, it will come into your life, whether I send it to you or somebody else does, or, you know, whether you just kind of, you know, go into a crystal store and it calls to you, right? Because, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and have you ever had a situation where maybe you see a crystal in a crystal store, you go back, you know, you see it from time to, but you're not, and then eventually you are really drawn to it and you purchase it. You know what I mean? It's like your innate was knowing that you were going to need that crystal at some point, and you didn't realize that until, you know, then, oh, okay, you know, but then you realize, you know, you could see the signs of you being drawn to it. That's kind of how things work for me sometimes.
No, I can't say that that's really happened with me, I don't think. No, because it's not like I don't know, it's like, for instance, like when I got your Merkabas, your chakra Merkabas, I wasn't even really like looking around too much. I just kind of knew where to walk in the store, and looked right down and saw them, and it's like, yeah, okay, those are for Larry, and I got them. So and for me, it's the same process, whether they're calling to me for someone else or whether they're calling to me for me. If I'm not ready for a particular crystal, if it doesn't call to me, then generally I don't even really notice it or really look at it. I just kind of go in, and I'm always just directed to, guided to, it'll speak to me, and that's what, that's what I pick up. Whether, like I said, whether I think it's aesthetically pleasing or not, I just intuitively know that that's what I need at the time. I have actually, it's funny, before Ariel came into our lives, I bought a rose quartz generator, the ones that stand straight up. And I felt that I needed, I was drawn to it. I felt that I needed the rose quartz, I guess, to help open my heart chakra. It balances you, and it's an unconditional love stone. I was drawn to it. Oh, looking at it now, it's got like a little rainbow, and isn't that cool? I never noticed that. And then after Ariel came into her life, she already had the name Ariel. This is totally her crystal. And Archangel Ariel, that's her crystal, rose quartz. So it's pretty amazing.
Ariel.
Oh, shut up. So Ariel with my crystals, she like every night since she came to live with us, I do a guided meditation, and she will not go to sleep, and she'll start whining until I put that guided meditation on, give her rose quartz, and then she calms right down and she goes into her zone. And then there's certain crystals that I'll sleep with, and I'll have them out beside me on the couch. One will be in my hand, one will be in my other hand, one will be in my pillow. I'll have one in my underwear, and then the other ones will be lying by me, and she'll just kind of move and kind of shift, and she'll put her head or her paw on a certain one. And so she's very, very connected to the crystals as well. It's amazing. Yeah, they speak.
Yeah, I gotta say, hey, I didn't mean to sound like an idiot there a little bit back. I have a little chaos at my house. I put something in the oven and forgot about it before the start of the show, and it caught on fire, and I had to deal with that, and it's all smoky. But the point what I was really trying to ask you about that, and now I know the answer. But like sometimes for me, whether it's a book I'll want to read or something I'll want to look into, right? But I won't. I'll go ahead and take something else or look at something else. But I'll know that eventually someday I'm going to be drawn to that, to want to, to want it. And that's kind of the point I was making about the crystals. Like I went in, and if I got a crystal, that resonated with me, I might just see this one sitting over there and not think nothing of it. And then eventually, all of a sudden, one day, I'll get it for some reason, and there was a reason why I was meant to wait. So that's kind of what I was getting at with that. But I imagine with crystals, it's more pure. It's probably the one pure thing that just your gut draws you to it, or it doesn't. Or if it's meant to someday, it won't till then, and you don't even notice it. It's out of your perception, right? It's out of your perception. I was just thinking once in a while if there might be that one that, I've seen that around but didn't think anything of it, and then eventually you're like, oh, okay, I gotta get that crystal. So that's what I meant during all that chaos of the dog flipping out and barking and smoke in my kitchen. So yeah, anyway, big time. I mean, it's just that they're endless. There's so many things that these crystals do. I mean, there's so much power. There's so many different kinds, and it's really what resonates with you. How important do you think it is, Raquel, to like really dive into the research of what the various crystals do? Do you think that's something a person should do if they want to? Do you think it's absolutely necessary to do? Or I know with you, your answer is, you just go with your gut, but
for me, this whole process for me with the chakras, with all the knowledge that I've with everything I've remembered in the past 2 years, it's not through a spiritual whatever website that posts other people's experience and does quizzes and explains things. It's just it's just stuff that I've been remembering. I totally I'm personally, I'm not into research, but I will, like I said, if I'm when I'm drawn to a particular stone, like the black Tibetan, the celestial, the ones that are the Andaras, the ones that are not as common, that I'll know that I need it, and I'll do a quick search. I'll do a quick search on it, after I purchase it, and you know, and then I'll realize, oh my gosh, like, yeah, this is exactly what I need. Like, this is awesome. But I mean, hey, that if you're, you know, a crystal enthusiast, and you want, you know, you're the type of person that wants to dive in and know everything about them, by all means, get to know them and know everything about them. But don't forget, you know, the information that's put out there is, you know, through other people. So also, you know, take the time to, you know, whether you want to meditate with your crystals or sleep with your crystals, or, you know, as far as using them, you know, for healing, placing them on different parts of your body. You know, just do what you feel is right, right? Do what you feel is right. You'll just intuitively know. I know there's been times where I've just all of a sudden put a certain crystal on my head or my third eye, and it's like, okay, and then I'll feel it vibrating throughout my whole body. Like, they'll, if you really listen, they'll talk to you and tell you how to work with them. So you don't need to research outside on, you know, how to work with them or anything. They will tell you that, and when you're ready and you connect to, you know, a certain crystal, it will just tell you. It will guide you. It'll be your guide, and you'll just know.
Hence, what do we always say on the show? Go within. Go within. The research is good for reference points, but understand that it's coming from a third-party opinion,
Yeah.
and don't get hung up on the messenger, you know, instead of the message. So yeah, go within, and it's good to research for reference points if you don't know anything about it. I think it was interesting how you were talking about how, you know, you'll do a little bit of research on some of these things, and it'll be exactly what you knew you needed. I mean, it's almost like I've read articles before, you know, with other things, and it's like, this is exactly what I thought and what I did need. You know what I mean? Is that kind of how it is for you then when you're doing that?
Well, yeah, because I mean, I'll just do a quick, you know, I'll do a quick Google search, you know, of the healing properties, and I'll find out, oh, okay, well, it, you know, it helps you ground, or it, you know, helps balance your chakras, or it helps with addictions, or with detoxification, or, you know, it just, this is basic little snippets of information, and that's good enough for me, because I'll read that and it's like, well, that's exactly, you know, that's exactly what I needed, right? So, yeah. And then we were also talking about cleansing crystals. Did we talk about that in the pre-show, or did we?
We talked about it in the pre-show. We did not talk about it on the show yet, and because I had asked you specifically about that, and
Okay.
I think that was interesting. Yeah, so start there, and I've got some things to say too.
Okay. Well, for me personally, I really don't cleanse. I don't cleanse my crystals. Except lately, like, you know, I said, I've been growing a garden, and there's 3 particular crystals right now that want to be. They've just told me they want to be in my garden, so they've been out there during the day, and so I guess that's, you know, they're kind of being cleansed and ground and helping my garden. But for me, because my area is rather sacred, I don't have anyone else's energy, you know, except my mom. But she, you know, I have my own kind of area. I don't have anyone touching my crystals, and I don't have, you know, the energy of others, that, because the crystals will absorb. They will absorb energy, and they will also, a lot of them, especially the quartz, will amplify energy as well. So if it's a little bit chaotic in your house, or if there's been people that are touching them, if it's, you know, if it's some negativity, it will actually amplify that. So personally, I don't cleanse my crystals. I don't feel that I need to. But some really good ways of doing that is, of course, you can, you know, put them in water, any kind of, you know, even running water or salt water. Of course, you wouldn't want to put selenite or something in it that would dissolve. Running it through smoke, like sage, is a good thing. You know, or just put through incense. You can put them out in the sunlight. That'll help cleanse them. You could put them in the ground, in the earth. That'll help cleanse them. You know, a way to cleanse them. So there's lots of different ways to cleanse them, and I would just suggest, you know, picking whatever way feels right for you, and just doing it if something feels off. I know that someone that I had sent a crystal to told me that someone had sent them a crystal in the past, and this person did not have good intentions, and so the energy from these crystals were awful. And so, basically, if you're feeling, maybe it's absorbed someone else's energy, or if it's, you feel the need to cleanse it, just pick what feels right for you and cleanse it as, as often as you need to. But I don't, if it's kept in a sacred place and it's not, polluted or absorbing any yucky or negative energy, then yeah, then I don't really think that they need to be cleansed unless you feel they need to be, right? So
exactly. And I'm almost thinking too, and I didn't mention this in the pre-show about this. I'm also thinking too that we're stepping into more of a power within ourselves, that we have that ability to cleanse it with our thoughts and with our loving intentions. Of course, like you said, if you got some chaos going on in your house right now, like anybody I don't know, it's a good idea to maybe do those things and protect them. I mean, I would think it would be safe to say, Raquel, that somebody that took a look at your crystal collection, you would not be cool with them sitting there juggling them, would you? If they said, hey, can I juggle these? I mean, that's a little joke. I'm sure you wouldn't. I'm sure that you'd get the wrath of Raquel from doing that with her crystals. But if you get a crystal from somebody, right, I think it's almost within your power to have those intentions to cleanse that crystal. Now, listen, on the other hand, like you were saying, if somebody has sent a crystal with bad intentions, and it can amplify too, like you said, and that's what went wrong, I think, with the Atlanteans and Atlantis. I'm not going to get off on that, but they started to use, Raquel, this crystal technology for greedy purposes, and you hit on something that made me think that, because you're like, it can amplify that negative energy going on in your house, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it can just amplify what's going on, so they can be, it seems to me like if you're not careful, they could work against you. I'm not trying to put the fear out there, but this is just the power that they have. They have the power to do these kind of things.
Well,
yeah.
They will hold on to, like, whenever I send crystals out to anybody, I will meditate with it, and I will cleanse it and infuse it with healing energy. So I will add, that my vibration, my energy to it, as far as like healing energy. So it's not like I'm really programming the crystal. I'm just adding, I'm giving it a boost, right? I'm kind of merging my energy with it. And it's always a high energy, and it's always with the most, loving intent and, my higher self, to help people. I don't charge, I don't sell. I'm not in the crystal selling or rock. I'm not a rock dealer.
Sure, you're the biggest rock dealer in Vancouver.
No, that was me in another life. But no, yeah. So they're the ones. It's with love, right? And so just don't let any assholes touch your crystals. I mean, you're not going to anyway, right? I think you get to a point where you just kind of you stand in your own power, and you take back your own power, and you don't let assholes stomp around your house and touch your energy or your shit. So yeah, so
good advice.
Well, some people don't, and other people, whatever. I'm not going to judge. But yeah, so just just love your crystals and connect with them, because like I said, they will guide you. They will guide you, and they will speak to you. It's really amazing. They'll speak to you, and sleep with them. Sleep with your crystals. Just sleep with as many as you feel drawn to sleep with.
I hope people just hear that sound bite from Raquel. Sleep with your crystals.
No, seriously, they do a lot of work at night. Like, it's amazing how they move around. And I mean, okay, some of them, you've seen a little bit of my family of crystals that I have here. Some of them are very large, very sharp pieces. So, I will sleep with them. Quite often I'll have like one that's the size of my hand that I'll have in my hand under the pillow, and I'll wake up and it'll be like right down at my lower back. Or they'll be, crystals, like, and they'll at nighttime. Seriously, I guess I'm moving them to where they need to be as I'm sleeping, to where they need to heal, the areas they need to heal. That's why quite often I wake up with bruises and I'm sore, because I've been like, sleeping on a rock, having it jabbed into my rib overnight. But it's really neat though, because yeah, especially when I sleep, because that's my, that's not me getting in the way and deciding, oh, okay, well, I'm going to place it here because this is where it needs to be. They just know, and it's not like they just, are sliding around the couch or whatever, and because they, wake up and they'll be in very specific places. So, yeah, so sleep with them, see what happens. They'll end up in exactly where they
Sleep with
need
them.
to be.
And stay tuned for the Late Show, Crystal Pillow Talk with Raquel Toombs. Yeah, exactly. You know what? I don't care. As weird as it may sound to some people out there, it makes perfect sense to me. It makes more than perfect sense, and I do still realize there's part of the collective that thinks that would sound crazy. But listen, I know that it's worked for her, and I mean, even if it hadn't, it resonates with me totally. I mean, I can just see that, and I mean, that's just probably the beginning of what the marvelous things they can do. And I know our producer is dying to chime in. She wants to talk a little bit real quick about coating crystals with certain energy or infusing water with crystals. Sif Gunnarsdottir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yay, Sif. Hi, Sif. I love you, Sif.
Hi.
Love you, hon.
My name is Sif. I'm a crystaholic.
You're a rock addict.
We rock.
Welcome, Sif.
I've been a fan of crystals and rocks since I was a kid. Yes, so I fit perfectly into the company. First time I want to say, first time I met crystals was when I was 18, when I was opening up again after being shut down spiritually for 6 years, and those were actually Lemurian crystals. And when I got them, they were this whitish kind of color. Today they are perfectly see-through. I've used them in meditations, one in each hand. There are two of them. And they are perfectly see-through today. So the crystals you get, they actually change with you. And the reason why I wanted to talk about crystals and how to program them is because today the energies are offering us so many possibilities to play with. And the spiritual realm is dying to get to us in more than one way to help us with our missions. And if you have a crystal, no matter what kind of crystal, they are different in how they are built up, just from a physical point of view, how they are binding energy in them. So you might want to have a crystal that has a strong binding, like a quartz crystal that is holding energy really, really well. And you can place that crystal somewhere, and then you go within and you make an intention in your mind, and you ask for that kind of energy to be filled in the crystal that you want to have in your life, whether it is more self-love, whether it's abundance in a certain area of your life, or whatever kind of connection you want to make, more Syrian energy to connect to your Syrian soul, or Pleiadian energy to connect with the Pleiadian soul, whatever it is. And then feel the energy in the crystal afterwards and see what it does for you. It might take several attempts while you're getting secure and comfortable with it, but try it out. Also, crystals, their energy vibration itself can be used with water, just like Raquel was talking about. When you cleanse crystals in water, they don't just get cleansed. If you place them in a what is it called? In a glass of water or in a pint of water, where we keep it in the fridge, they will infuse their energy into the water and help you also with your physical body, not just your spiritual development. You just have to be careful. Some crystals are actually toxic when they're put into water, but there are great references online. So always read online the recommendations, what crystals should be put in water and what crystals should avoid water before you start doing that. And then I just want to point out, more or less all of our technologies, our watches, computers, have crystals in them today because of their electrical qualities. They actually balance the electricity in our devices. So that's just my little input here.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Gunnarsdottir. I hear I'm echoing in the background. Okay. Yeah. Mute yourself.
Oh yeah, multidimensional S's. Speaking all over the place at the same time.
Oh yeah, all in this never beginning nor ending now moment. So was that all that you had to offer there, Sif? Is that all you?
At the moment.
Okay. So Raquel, what do you make of all that?
What do I make of all what? What Sif just said?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, what do you make of all that? Yeah.
Well, I don't put crystals in my water. Yet it's not something I really feel drawn to do. I guess we all will interact and all absorb and all connect with our crystals in different ways. I know with me, like I said, as far as the physical, there's stones, like the malachite is a huge one that really will help with the physical. Just even sleeping with the stone, having it in my pocket, having it close to me all the time. It helps immensely. And yeah, I mean, Tesla, he knew about crystals. This was like way back. I mean, he knew about crystals. He knew that crystals were living beings. I mean, he knew he knew all about that. I mean, seriously, he was not I don't know, he was an ascended master or an ET incarnate or something. Like he was
a contact.
He definitely was not of this or from this earth, right? But yeah, as far as computers and of course watches have been, especially the old watches as well, from the first watches that were made, I'm sure, were quartz, right? So quartz is a timekeeper, but it's also a conductor. So yeah, computers and science is really taking great leaps with working with crystals. I don't remember, there was a particular video I watched. I don't totally remember what it was, but it was pretty phenomenal, so maybe I shouldn't even have mentioned it if I can't remember. But anyway, no, science now also is really looking at, is really knowing the power of, figuring out the power of crystals. So, and yeah, and I also think that, we are, like I was saying, like, I mean, it's amazing to see, like the same energy that I see shooting off of me, and the same energy I see, in me, I see coming from crystals. So, they are us. They're, like
we're becoming crystalline beings.
Yes, we're becoming crystalline. So they're pure vibration, and like I said, they just appear through. We perceive them as being solid because of the density of this dimension. And so with me, it's been really quite amazing to be able to see things as they are, which is light and vibration in this dimension. I'm being able to see crystals and myself and other things as light, and I think more and more people, are going to start seeing that. And then the next, it's so exciting. And then the next step after that, after seeing that and realizing that, is working with that and saying, okay, now how do I, and taking the next step. As far as, the possibilities are endless. Like, there's really, it's exciting to think about. As soon as you realize and you know that you're pure energy and vibration, and and you even see yourself as that, it's phenomenally amazing. But then to think that, the Lemurians in ancient Egypt and Mu, they were so advanced. They were able to travel, travel to different, different dimensions, be it different places at the same time, and by location and all that stuff. That's
right.
That might seem like science fiction, but that's where we're heading.
You touched on it, though.
That's where we're heading. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you touched on it, and that ties back into, you bringing up Nikola Tesla. Tesla, he might have been from Earth 200 years in the future on Earth, but he understood things from that perspective way back then. From his conscious contacts, his telepathic information that he downloaded from the Pleiadians, he realized that crystals were interdimensional, that Lemurians used them to travel interdimensionally, to travel wherever they needed to in quick amounts of time. And I think, honestly, Tesla was onto that, completely onto that, and had plans drawn up for exactly how that would work. And then when he passed away in 1943 and those two government agencies raided his house, they took all his documentation, and it's still not to be released by the FBI. And so I think he was onto that. And there's time travel probably capabilities, and you're right, crystals look dense because they're in this dense lower dimension, right? But it's not just crystals, but they remind us that everything down here is dense. Anything that would exist in a little bit of a higher dimension, right? It gets more fluid and more, it adjusts to the density that it's at. I mean, that's just my 2 cents on it anyway.
Yeah, it makes sense. Did you drop your mic or something?
No.
Drop the mic.
I did drop it, actually, when I ran into the kitchen when it was smoky here a little bit ago. But what I'm getting at is, okay, so Tesla understood that everything can revolve through a crystal. Power, healing. I think maybe they're there to teach us that we are crystalline too, and just like I'm going all over the board, but the planet is becoming crystalline, right? Not just you, not just me, not just what we see. The planet is becoming a crystalline sphere as it ascends, into the 5th dimension, or whatever kind of label you want to put on it, right? Forget the labels. You see it, I see it. This shit is happening. Okay, everything's becoming brighter. Everything's becoming more crystalline. Yeah, exactly. And this has been talked about for a while. So I might heard this a couple years ago. Marian Rada had a channeling about the planet becoming more of a Pleiadian planet, is how she described it. But the same kind of things as this. The vibrations are lifting. Colors are getting more vibrant. Colors, just like crystals, right, are becoming more translucent. You're starting to see new translucent colors appear. And it's just really an exciting time to live in, don't you think, Rack?
It is. It's amazing. And I was talking to Sif the other day on the phone when Jevin, was moving out. I mean, he lived here for the past year, and for many years, I was really fucked up. I was heavily addicted and fucked up, and we were close when he was younger, and he, we really drifted apart. So for the last year, it's been so awesome, and we're so close, and we've really connected. And I was sitting outside, and I was crying by my new garden, and I saw the most brilliant, amazing, like crimson red color. Every time I blinked, like my eyes, everything was that color, and I knew, I heard, and it's not like an external voice, Raquel, you're whatever. I just knew I was working with the crimson ray. I was working with the crimson ray that day, and when I felt this and when I knew this, my soul obviously knew what it meant, but the sadness I felt about Jevin moving, it's completely gone. And he was sad the night before too, and he's so happy now. And like after this ray washed over me, and then me and Sif were talking about all the new, because of where our planet is now, all the new light rays that are coming through, all the new colors, the new colored light rays that are coming through, that that are not, you're not going to find it on Google or whatever, because we're like pioneers.
No.
And we're the first ones that, you know, they've never been here before. So now it's kind of up to us to like, okay, we're receiving it, and now, you know, yeah. So just
Oh my God! Just as you're saying that, okay, I'm thinking. The first question I was going to ask you, Raquel, was, okay, these crimson rays that you speak of, have you ever had dealt with them before? And then you started talking about how you and Sif were talking about all these new colors coming in, these new energies that you can't Google, you've never heard of. Well, I have had 2 channelings that I have done with the aqua rays from the 8th dimension. People can check those out, and those just came here and came to me and came over me for other reasons, just like with you, Raquel, and the crimson rays. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble talking tonight, apparently.
Yes.
The crimson rays. Now, these things you can't Google. If you tried to Google aqua rays, the Aqua Ray Collective, you would just get Larry Locken with 2 videos.
Yeah.
But the crimson rays, right? Is this something that you feel like you're going to explore more, maybe, or have you had any dealings with them since that night that, you know, and that you were missing Jevin? Have you had that come over you again, or is it just that once? I've only had it twice with the aqua rays. So,
no, it was just that day, and then a few months, or maybe it was last summer. I have no concept of time, so when I say a few months, it could have been yesterday, or it could have been a year.
Yes,
sure. But there was, you know, a time where I'd seen like a fuchsia ray. It was like, you know, like a pinkish, purple, reddish kind of color, and these are colors that they're really hard to even name. Like, you even name them crimson, because they're colors that I've never seen of this earth before. So it's really hard
it'd be like trying to tell somebody a letter that's not in the alphabet. How could you describe it to them? And that's what's so fascinating, is that there's colors coming in that are like that.
Yes.
And you think in your mind, how could I possibly see a color I don't know, because I know all the colors? Well,
yeah.
you don't know what you don't know. But yeah, continue on with your point. But that is just, it's wonderful. That's happening with everything.
Well, yeah, this one day I had seen everything was like fuchsia. It was like, and you know, basically when I'm seeing these colors, they're colors that I have never seen before, and it's not just like little wisps. Like all of a sudden, everything is the most brightest, most vibrant. That color, it's all consuming. Everywhere I live, it usually happens outside. It has never happened inside. It usually happens outside. The sun is coming from the sun, right? These new rays are coming from the central sun, through the sun.
Yeah, it's not coming from your night lamp or anything.
No, and it's not been, when it's happened to me, it's not been as I'm sun gazing, because I see very different things when I'm sun gazing. So each time it's just been, you know, just sitting outside, whatever, and all of a sudden it'll just hit me, and my vision, you know, and everything is like, it's just amazing. It's all consuming, and it's just so vibrant, and it's just everywhere. That's pretty well all I see. So the first time it was like, I just can describe it as like as a fuchsia, the fuchsia. But like I said, I'd never seen these colors before anywhere on Earth, so it's really hard. So all I can do is say, okay, well, I know what fuchsia color looks like, so this was really similar. And so, you know, I kind of, okay, well then, you know, that's how I'll describe it. But with this crimson one, it was amazing, because it was, you know, like I said, I was crying and I was upset, and all of a sudden, not only did I see it, but I felt it. And I felt it, like I almost became it. It just washed right through me. And it's like, it just, you know, it was amazing. And I felt it. And I felt like just, you're working with the crimson, this is a crimson flame, you know? And,
yes.
And it just, or the crimson ray, crimson flame, whatever you want to call it. And it just instantly lifted everything from me. Like it just hit me, boom, hit me. It was beautiful. And then there was no over and over. And then there was no, then the sadness and everything was gone. And then that extended to Jevin too, because he wasn't sad anymore either. He was, you know, he was feeling really good. And then he came over the next day. And so, yeah, I felt that came here, and that, you know, basically helped me transmute that sadness, just bang, like that, right? Because normally I
Right,
think
and it transmuted his too. Yeah, that's amazing. So it transmuted his, and he didn't even know why the hell he was in a better mood. It just happened, right?
absolutely,
And
yeah. Hmm.
did you feel, Raquel, when you, okay, the very initialness of that happening to you, right? Did you feel it, even though it was great, did you feel it that it was really powerful? Because that's what I felt from the aqua. I had to adjust to it for a minute with me. I mean, you probably had an easier time than me, but did you feel that it was a really powerful, powerful, energy coming at you, like more than
Um,
typical?
well, I've been in training, like in boot camp and in training hardcore for, just over 2 years. So these, anytime these energies or these lights or whatever, these rays or whatever hit me, I've already prepared. I've never really come up against something that was too powerful, that I kind of almost knocked me off my feet and I had to regain my senses. So
Hmm.
yeah, like I've been in training for it. So, yeah, so it was, to me, it was just, wow. It was so beautiful. And not only did it look beautiful, but it felt so beautiful too. And then I was talking to Sif, and I guess she Googled it, and I Googled it. And there was, like I said, not really nothing about the Crimson Ray or Crimson Flame. There was something mentioned in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and I didn't read too much into it, but basically it said, "Don't look at this crimson flame," and it was, like whatever. I guess they're depicting it in an evil way, and it was like, okay, that doesn't resonate, so I didn't bother reading it. Then I googled,
Exactly.
then I googled the red ray, or the red flame. I don't remember which one, and that's governed by Archangel Uriel, whatever, with a U R, Uriel. And so they had, depictions, like different pictures, different of the shades or whatever, and there was one that was very, very similar. So yeah, that could have been, Archangel Uriel as well, right? That was cleansing me with that flame, maybe helping me with that flame. I'm not sure because there's so much that I've experienced that will come to me, and it's not like I don't really have it all figured out. It's just kind of like things just kind of happen, and I don't know how, and I don't know why, and I don't know what a lot of things mean. But it's just kind of like, it's all to my benefit, and it's all absolutely beautiful and magical and helpful. And I just trust that my soul knows about these things, right? And on some level, I'm working with these things, and I'm familiar with them. So I don't need, my little me conscious mind down here right now doesn't need to know right now. I know,
Right. Yeah.
it's cool. It's cool. It's cool
Mhm.
that I don't know, because throughout this process I've learned to really trust in the process, because I know that things come to me exactly when I'm ready. And if they don't,
You're learning to enjoy it.
oh
You're
well,
learning to.
whatever, right?
You
There's
think, right?
yeah.
It sounds to me like you're. It sounds to me like you're learning, or you have started to really enjoy the. You don't want to totally know yet because you're enjoying the journey of finding out. You know what I mean? You're enjoying going through the
Mhm.
process and stepping into that power and enjoying it. And I knew better than to ask you that question about if it was too overpowering for you. But my mindset was that, okay, all these rays that have came here and hit, and that, and I just thought maybe with a new one hitting you that it might be really powerful for a second. But of course, then I know that you prepare, so I knew better than to
Mhm.
ask that, because of, I don't prepare good enough sometimes, and it was really overwhelming for me for a few minutes, and I got knocked on the bed by it. So I guess I wasn't grounded into the aquas until so there was that initial burst of, I couldn't handle it for a second. But you sounded prepared, and different energies are different. But I mean, these are out there, and I'm excited to hear if other people too have stories about a different ray or a flame and what color it was, and if they also have the same trouble we would, as completely describing what it is. What's kind of this, it's kind of
Mhm.
that, and then kind
Mhm.
of not. I mean, it's just exciting, and go with it, and know one thing: you don't have glaucoma. You're not seeing sunspots.
No.
Either that or billions of people around the world are having or getting
Yeah.
glaucoma. But just go with it and share your experiences. I'm excited, like you. I'm excited to see what's next, and I'm excited to hear what people have to say and what they have to share. That's really interesting, the Crimson Rain. I bet you couldn't find And you probably searched high and low to find what you found about Uriel, huh? I bet you really like dug into it and it was like the only thing out there.
Actually, no. I just Googled quickly the red flame or the red light ray, and it just first thing that came up was Uriel and a few pictures, and it was just like, oh, okay, cool, and then that was that. So, but yeah, don't forget to ground. Who was it, Sif, that was typing that? Ground, ground, ground. So thank you, Sif.
Yes.
So so
Yes.
you're ready. And some really good grounding stones are pyrite, which is really good. The darker ones, like oh shit, what am I thinking? Like I guess like the obsidian, the tulamine. Then there's also I want to call it agorite. It's a brown stone. It's got a really neat formation. I have a piece here. Maybe I should turn the camera on and show you. It's a wonderful grounding stone. It's a wonderful. It really connects you to the earth. It's great for geopathic stress. So for the earth or for the areas. I'm just gonna turn the camera on. Although I look horrible right now. Where's the camera? So this is. I don't know if you can see the formation.
It's gorgeous.
I think it's pronounced agorite or gorite, but it's very sparkly and it's got some really beautiful formations in it, and it's a wonderful, wonderful grounding stone.
That had to be the first time ever I have ever seen something the color brown that I thought looked really, really cool. So,
Yeah, it's
so
really
thank you for showing that.
it's really sparkly and pretty, but this one agorite, I think agorite or agorite is called. This is a wonderful grounding stone, and it also really helps. It not only helps you to ground, but it also helps Gaia as well. You can use it, to help you ground, but then it'll help any kind of stress or disease or pain that Gaia might be going through as far as
Ground with the brown.
or whatever, right? This is a good kind of stone for that. Then also, like I said, pyrite is a really good grounding stone too. And I want to show you. I look horrible, so I don't want to turn my camera on again. But I want to show you. If you don't have a piece of celestite, this is celestite. Now let's see if we can get the.
Ooh, that's dreamy, girl. I like that.
Sparkles. They have it in the tumbled ones. I'm not really fond of the tumbled ones. I like the raw ones. The
You like
celestite.
that.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's a very
I want an
celestial.
igloo. I want
It's
an
a very
igloo out of
celestial.
it.
Yeah, really. It's a very celestial stone. It's also will connect you to the angelic realm as well as selenite will as well. I'm just trying to see if I have. Yeah, I got a little
Yeah, what?
information. So the celestite I just showed you is really good for dream recall and astral travel. Harmony and communication is part of it. It heals and aligns the aura, the astral body, and the light body. And it also helps you to connect with your guides. It's soul healing, spiritual and karmic growth, and it manifests the element of water, so you have the ability to flow with life. So yeah, this will align the astral and the aura, astral, light body or whatever, in you. So yeah, the celestite is a beautiful stone. I mean, we went off the topic of grounding, but I had to show you the celestite.
There was a reason you had to show that because, too, earlier when I was just saying that, when I think of crystals and crystalline, I think of bliss. Well, guess what? I was picturing in my mind, Raquel, being like in a room. That's why I said igloo, in a room that looked like a cave that was made out of that. That's what I was thinking about, and it was just like that blissful. I really like that stone and resonate with it a lot, and everything that you just said about it. it was just like, yeah. I'm hearing this, and it's like, wow, that's true, that's true. Now I remember I knew that. That's why we went off. That's why we went off topic. And as far as going off topic, okay, part of the other point, I know Sif had typed in some notes here, our producer, and she was talking about these rays that are coming in, right? They're helping our DNA to crystallize on the multidimensional level, and that makes sense. And I'm just wondering if she meant the crimson rays that Raquel had saw for the first time, or both that and my aqua rays. Are these new rays coming in?
Yeah, I think she meant any of the new rays that are now that people have not worked with, like magenta pixie is one that I think is really cool on the Wing Collective of Nine.
I like her.
Yes, the information that she puts out about the rays and the diamond light codes and stuff, but the rays, you can tell it's coming from a very high place, and it really resonates with me. But we're at a point now, excuse me, where I need a cigarette. No, I don't, but I do.
Magenta Pixie was one of the first that I listened to, and I started my awakening and way before getting on Facebook, and I would look at things on YouTube, and I always felt real comfortable with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With her.
Well, yeah, and she's, like, I mean, there's people like her that are familiar with, the certain rays, right? The gold ray, the whatever. But like, me and Sif were talking about, like we were just talking about now, there's all, because we're moving forward in this process, because, the Gaia is where it is now, where she is now, in the solar system. All these new rays are coming down, and they're ones that are not known, and same with this ascension process and the physical mutation. The physical mutation.
Yes.
We're total pioneers, because this is not been done before. This has not happened before, and there's people, of course, that want the scientific proof. And basically, there's no way that human beings will evolve in one lifetime and whatever. It's like, okay, you know what? Any doctor or scientist, you want to come do some tests on me? I invite you to do so. I mean, seriously, because, yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, it goes deeper than that, like you're saying. I mean, it really can't. When you talk about people that were pioneers in this field, even 5-10 years ago, whether it's talking about crystals or talking about these rays or talking about situations, it's ascension symptoms. So much new shit has come along with this group that's awakened since 2010. And to now that that knowledge wasn't even there. So when God love those pioneers and stuff, but you're only getting about 60 to 75% of what's going on. And look how quick it's happened. We're only talking within the time of a few years, and a decade at the most, maybe.
And I mean, it's accelerating. And like Sif was saying, these new, light rays that are coming in. They are accelerating the physical process as well. They're totally accelerating it, and it's just in the past 2 years, I find that it's intensifying, and it's getting more rapid and more rapid and more rapid. I know for me, I really don't get many. It's been over 2 years, and I don't really get any breaks except for when I'm sleeping. So I really, really value my sleep now. That's the only time my body rests, really. And it's been wow. It's been wow. And also, I shared a post by Marciniak had mentioned it about the recoding and rebundling of the DNA. So basically, the mutation she was talking about, and she said, and it really, really hit home with me, because she said that there are those of us, or those people that are going to experience it very intensely and very rapidly. We're going to open ourselves up so completely to the light that it's going to hit us full force. And basically, the ones that are doing this make it so that the ones that come behind us and others don't feel the don't feel the pain, don't feel the discomfort, don't feel the whatever. It enables them to be able to absorb the energy much more easier. So they're having, so they're experiencing, the beauty and the love and the magic of it. Because I know I've talked to a few people about the energies, and just like, oh, you know, like I'm on the floor and I can't move my head, or today, you know, a bone is jutting out of the top of my mouth, or today, you know, and they're like, you know, they're like, you're distracting me. Stop typing shit on the screen. Some people are just like, oh, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, no issues at all, no whatever. And I'm thinking, like, are you serious? Like, are you not evolving or what? Like, you know, like most people I know are experiencing some level of, you know, discomfort and pain, as far as, you know, there's the pressure and the muscles and the muscle spasms and you know, headache and all that kind of stuff. But then when I read that post, it was kind of like, okay, like this kind of makes sense then, because there's a bunch of us here now that have opened ourselves up so much to transform so quickly physically, that for so many other people, they're not going to have to go through what we went through or what we're going through.
Definitely not, exactly. And right, a lot of this information is already outdated and it's only a few years old. If you know, Barbara Marciniak's book, Bringers of the Dawn, would be one book. You know, it's getting to the point now where I am not like I used to be in insisting people read it. They have to read it. It might be the one, if you were going to take one book to go take a reference at from back then to, you know, listen to an opinion on these things, like what Raquel's talking about, of course, the rebundling of the cells. After our oh God, I'm losing my train of thought. But after our DNA strands were unplugged, right? We had those strands unplugged in the genetic manipulation, but those cellular, what they didn't realize, those cellular awakening codes were still infused in us. You know, meant to wake up at a certain time and eventually activate and override and plug those, you know, cords back in, plug those DNA helix strands back in, and that's what's going on right now. And the crystals are here, I think, to accelerate that process. So, I mean, yeah, and I just remember when Raquel was going through her ascension symptoms really terribly bad, her first one 2 years ago. I'm like, no, you got to read this. You got to read that.
I still am.
Yeah, she is. You are, but I'm talking about when you were a rookie. When you were a rookie, I was trying to get you to read this shit. Raquel be like, no, I gotta do it. I never seen anything like it. No, I gotta do this on my own. No, I can't be polluted with any info, period. And I knew that, and I was like, with Bringers of the Dawn, I realized that it might be the one. There'd be some things in there she would resonate with. I mean, I've just dissected that book and read it hundreds of times, so. You know, but that's another subject, that book, for another time. But exactly, our bodies are crystal cells, and each one of those cells really is a universe and a life among themselves. We're teaming with life in this vehicle that we have, and this vehicle is getting an upgrade. Thank God, it's about time. Couldn't have come any sooner.
Here, hold on.
To what?
Ariel wants to say hi. Can you see Ariel?
Hi, Ariel.
Hello, Larry.
Hi, gorgeous. Oh, hi, beautiful. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. How are you? Look at her. Oh,
it's funny
wow.
Because I don't have a TV. She's never seen a TV before, except in Jevin's room every once in a while. But you know, I don't have a TV out in my area here. So it's weird, like, you know, like Jevin was in Victoria, and he sent a little video saying hi to her because she was missing him, and she can hear the tablet fine, but she can't see, she can't, like, you know, and videos of cats or videos of whatever, you know, she can hear it, and she'll turn her head from side to side, and she'll either look at the window or the fireplace, but she cannot see. She doesn't see images on the tablet, and she doesn't see images on the computer, and I don't know, and her vision is fine, but it just doesn't register, you know, it just doesn't register with her. I know I've seen lots of dogs that watch TV and lots of cats that will pounce on iPads, and even frogs can see, you know, but for some reason she doesn't, you know, she doesn't see images on the tablet.
Well, it's funny you say that. The first thing I thought when I was talking to her and she started licking your face, I was like, is that kind of weird that she hasn't made one move to kind of look at the camera? And I thought, now, well, not all dogs do, but then you mentioned that. But that came in my mind. I was like, I just thought it was a little odd for some reason that she didn't do that. And then you mentioned it. So, yeah, that is kind of strange.
She's
I don't
very
know.
advanced, though. She's very advanced.
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, she found you, and that's kind of how it's been going lately with animals and, people
Mhm.
that are awakening. We're getting these animals come into our life, and
Mhm.
we know it's the right one. And for some people, they'll get one, and it might be this too. It's just amazing. And I think that ties into these crystals are really enlightening us to that. I mean, we are them. I mean, we're just becoming more crystalline, period. And it's exciting. And I think the more people that look into it, or it's not even about looking into it, because, Raquel, like I was telling you the pre-show, it seems like I've had 6 or 7 conversations the last couple of weeks at random with different people, whatever, in private, and they start talking about crystals. Somehow the subject has just came up,
Mhm.
and then you're reading, you see posts, and I mean, this topic is really coming into the consciousness of everybody,
Yeah,
and it
because
couldn't
it's
be.
time. It's time now. It's time now. We're ready, and we're ready, and most of us are at the vibration now where we're ready to be able to really utilize. It's not just like
Yes,
an aesthetic
and not
collection.
abuse it either.
It's not just like an aesthetic. Okay, I'm going to have a crystal collection, and they're dust catchers or whatever. No, we're becoming very intimately connected with the crystals, and it's time now, because not only are they medicine, not only are they our healers, they are our teachers as well. They are our companions. They are we you know are they just it's amazing. And like I said, there's still people in your life may not understand that, as far as, like I said, my mom and but it's funny. My son, just one day I was sitting here and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm not feeling good. I know I need something, but I'm not quite sure what I need. He goes, amethyst. You need amethyst. I was like, pardon me? He said, yeah, you heard me. So I was like, okay. So I went and got a piece of amethyst, and I found it. Oh my God, that's exactly what I needed. And then not too long ago, he mentioned another one to me. He just kind of said it out of the blue, and I totally forget what it is, and I wonder if he even remembers. But he mentioned it to me, and it sounded similar to another one. I said, "You mean whatever?" And he goes, "No, you need, And he goes, "It's a gold color." And he Googled it, and I'm like, "How did you know that?" Right? Like what? And I haven't gotten a piece yet, but I mean, So even though sometimes he, pretends and kind of, oh, whatever, crystals are stupid. You don't need more, he knows.
He knows. He knows.
Yeah.
It's just because.
Yeah.
Oh, mom, that's lame. But you know what? It really saddens me, though. You mentioned, when I think about all the decades and all the houses on this planet that had crystals for nothing more than dust collectors. These great, loving beings, these essence of life.
Mhm.
Um, they've been used as dust collectors for, and
Mhm.
and you mentioned that I can just see it in people's house.
Mhm.
But what they're enabling us to do right now too is you're going to start seeing individual citizens come up with inventions that can make everybody's life better. You're going to start
Mhm.
seeing, because of this, backyard mechanics coming up with things like free energy, maybe
Mhm.
hovercraft discs. We're just kind of stepping away from the paradigm. It's like a
Mhm.
step away revolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This evolution revolution we're having is, we're for the most part now kind of just walking away from it, and that's
Mhm.
really how it's going. The
Mhm.
only 2 or 3% of that aggressive mentality is really even needed anymore, and that is fading. I mean, we're really just kind of walking away from this, and we got our own. People are going to invent things and come up with things and be self-sufficient, and it's amazing, and this is really the start of it. And the crystals hold the key to all of this. I mean, I'm serious.
Mhm.
Everything that you could possibly think of to advance. I mean, we could be here all night trying to think of something that isn't going to be based on that crystal to make life better in every way,
Mhm.
technologically,
Mhm.
medicine wise, visually. I
Mhm.
mean, whatever the hell it may be that is better is going to come from the crystal at
And
some
more and
point.
more new, and more, new ones are surfacing now. More different, more and more different types of crystals are surfacing now, which is really cool too, and that's exciting. Just like with the new rays coming through, new crystals are surfacing all the time. So Yeah, it's wonderful. It's awesome, and I think that's a wrap.
I think so too. Joe, I got to ask you one question on that last note though. Do you think that it's because do you think these new crystals have always been here and they're just coming into our consciousness,
Yes.
or do you think that okay,
Yes,
that's
I
just what
think
I want
so.
to make sure.
I think it's time now. When when they know it's time, then they're discovered. A person will be led to a specific location to dig, and bang, they're discovered, right? And it probably coincides with the new light rays coming through. It,
Exactly.
yeah, it makes sense, right? So yeah,
It it does, and bada boom, bang, bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. I can't even get that right. It must be getting late and time
yeah,
to wrap it up.
yeah.
It's been a great show. Awesome. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I hope everybody that listens on the rebroadcast will. Raquel Toombs, real quick. What's going? Where can you be found? And what are your last words of wisdom for everybody?
My last words of wisdom are, make sure you sleep with your crystals, like as many as you can, as often as you can.
Sleep with those
Sleep
crystals.
with your
Have
crystals.
a have a yeah.
Yes, yes.
Have a menage a
Um,
trois with those crystals.
no, just sleep with them, and be careful because some are sharp and might bite you while you're sleeping. But yeah, just whatever ones you feel you're drawn to, and trust that, right? Trust that, because they will speak to you, and yeah, just listen up, let them speak to you, and yeah, they love to be slept with and cuddled. So yeah, and that was so wise. Those were my words.
That was wise because I'm looking at the 6 Merkaba crystals that you sent me, and boy, those are gonna be fun to sleep with. I think I'll put those by the bedstand and have the
I
regular
think
crystal. I'll hold that, and I'm gonna try sleeping for a
I
night with
think
it.
I think maybe I'll send you a couple more in the future that'll be maybe a little bit more loving, and as loving bedtime companions for you. These ones
I'll
are, I
look
guess,
forward.
probably the S&M version of sleeping with crystals, because they're going to be.
I'm gonna rely on you to do that because we don't have a metaphysical shop in the town that I live in, but hopefully soon that
Hmm.
will happen in the coming years, as there is an idea in the works that I won't go into right now. But nevertheless, of course, yours truly. You can always Rock and Larry Locken. You can always find me on Facebook at a million different Pleiadian groups. To keep it short, basically, if you want to know where you can find me on Facebook, all the groups and pages that I've created, I have a page called Pleiadian Groups and Pages, oddly enough. Now, there is, of course, a group by that same name called Pleiadian Groups and Pages Index, but and that's my group too. But you'd be better off going to Pleiadian Groups and Pages because you can just scroll down the list and see what I'm involved with. And of course, it has our 2 YouTube channels, Pleiadian Express Productions and Pleiadian Light Grid Project, as well as the new one started up, the Arcturian Crystalline Grid Project. And last but not least, you can find me on my website at, let me get this right, I hope, LarryLocken.wix at Pleiadian Productions Pro. Let me get that right. LarryLocken.wix at Pleiadian Express Pro, the Deductions is cut off pro.com, and that'll give you a link to all our different channels on YouTube and things that are going on. And of course, we also have a donate button if you like the show. We're trying to make it more professional. And that's about a wrap. And with that, I want to thank everybody. Much love out there to all my star goddess sisters and star broskies. And with that, a big cosmic dating game kiss. Mwah. Oh, are we off the air?